Hello again. So today, grab 2 blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, can you get some sturdy books? What else could you use? Or no blocks. You don't have to do this with blocks, just having a little play to see if it is a bit more accessible for you. Now this is quite an intermediate posture, so don't worry if you don't get it straight away. Oh, we've got Bodhi coming to join us. Are you going to show us 8 angle pose? I think that's a yes. Right, so it requires open hips and strong in the upper body and the shoulders. So if you've already bossed crow pose, fantastic. You might be able to boss straight into this, maybe a bit of practice. If you have not quite managed to get crow pose, pause this, go click on crow pose and practice that until you're able to attain crow pose and hold it for at least, I don't know, 2 or 3 breaths. Yeah? Okay. Right, so let's have a go with our blocks to begin with. So what we want to practice first is a pendulum pose, Lolasana. Bodhi, I'm sorry, you're going to have to move out of the way. Right, so for just an easy option, I'll try and go at an angle so you can see. I've come into an easy cross position, blocks at either side of the hips. Now try and get your whole palm down onto both blocks. Cross the feet at the ankles, lift the knees, push into the blocks, lift the bum. Good. Option 1, lifting the bum, pressing up and down, lifting the bum and down, lifting the bum. Can you lift one foot? Could you lift both? Sorry about that. So you're going to lift one foot, lift both feet, hang out here, let a cat swing underneath you. And then bring it back down. If you're able to do full lotus, bringing the right or one foot up to the hip and then the other foot on top. If you were to try this, both hands onto the block and lift, you're lifting the whole body off the floor. But that's not our aim today. So don't do that. Don't push yourself if that's not quite where you're at, is it, Bodhi? Sorry, hope you don't mind cat yoga today. So, after you've opened your hips, we'll take a little bit more here so you can do some pigeon poses to work on opening the hips. You can do some lizard lunges. All that is really great to target into the area that we're trying to work with. But for now, we're just going to rock the baby. So hold on to your right foot with your left hand, or you're bringing that right foot to the crook of your left elbow. Hugging and holding here, rocking from side to side. Now, if you like to sit on the floor a lot, do this. Hold it for an advert. That's how I used to practice to get my hips nice and flexible, or my hamstrings when I was practicing for splits. Hold this, try and find the length up through the crown of the head. The closer you bring the leg in towards the chest, the deeper the stretch. Good, you can stay and hold that a few times. Good, and then let's do the other side. So even if you're holding on the foot and this is enough for you and you can really feel it in this area, great. If you've got space to go further, bring the foot into the crook of the elbow. Try and focus on lengthening. If you're here and you can get the foot up to the elbow, but it looks a lot like this, then release. See if you can find the length and then rock from side to side. If you can get the foot up to here, up to the elbow, and then find the length in the spine and rock, perfect, go for that. Good, do that for a few more breaths. And then let's release. Let's have a go with the blocks. I'll try and face you guys so you can see. So blocks are going to be in that same position, just out of the way to begin with. So let's bend, what leg did we do first? Let's bend the left leg in. And then, so you're wanting to try and get your right leg up on your right shoulder like a backpack strap. Now right on top of the shoulder isn't really necessary unless you can really get up there with ease. If you can get it just as close to the shoulder as possible, fantastic. What you don't want is it clamping around the elbow. That is going to be too low. You've not got enough space for the arm to do what it needs to do in order to get into the posture. So higher the better, but I know this means getting more flexible in your hips. So maybe you're just staying here, hanging out, inspecting your legs, doing whatever. Good. Next bit. You're crossing left ankle over the right. Squeeze. Squeeze this right calf into your right arm like there's no tomorrow. Squeeze your ankles together. Grab your blocks. Remember, you want the whole hand on the block. Now, the hardest thing for this one, using the blocks, is you've got to lift a little higher, but then once you're up there, you're higher off the floor. So see if you can rock and roll and then lift. Ooh, look at all that space. Good. You could have a few practices with that, or you could have a go with no blocks. See which one is more attainable, but you want to have your bum away from the floor and your feet away from the floor. If you've got hands on the floor and you can't lift the bum or the feet, then have a go with your blocks. Make it work for you. Try and get that lift. Ooh, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Then once you're up there, see if you can start to extend the legs out to the side, squeeze, 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 and then dip the chest down and hold it there. When you're in the posture, so hard to talk when you're in the posture at the same time. When you're in that posture, let's do a makeshift version, and you're extending the legs, try and push out through your feet to try and get that extension in the legs, but also to help keep the lift of the hips. And then your torso is coming forwards, the elbows are starting to bend, so they start to imitate that crow pose position whilst you're trying to push out through the feet out to the other side. So I hope you had a go with using the blocks and without the blocks. Which one worked for you? Let's have a go on the other side with whichever one works best for you. So the right foot comes in, left leg goes up and over. Try and get it on there as high and as possible as you can. Bring the hands down, grab your blocks if you're using blocks, and then you're crossing the right foot over the left. Rock forwards, come up onto the hands. Holding this can be enough for you today if you've got this far. Then start to extend. I know I'm saying, I'm going to pause here. I know I'm saying squeeze this upper arm like there's no tomorrow. You are squeezing, but at the same time you're squeezing to extend so that the weight now doesn't just come from the front of the calf. As you extend, it's squeezing into the back of the thigh so that the right thigh and left thigh can now squeeze around my left arm. I hope you can see that. I can't see into the screen very clearly. One more time. Left leg goes up and over, clamp it down, hold, right leg crosses over, clamp, squeeze ankles, hands come down, rock it forwards, lift, squeeze, 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 extend, 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 squeeze the thighs together, push out through the feet, bend the elbows, open the chest, look forwards. Lots of things to think about. And some days you're going to feel stronger, like you do in crow pose, like you do in down dog, like you do in your vinyasas. Some days you're going to feel a little less stronger, and that is absolutely fine. If that was the latter for you today, have another go at this another day. Let me know how you get on. I hope that helped. Let me know if you managed to get it in some way, shape or form. If not, just keep going. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Now you know. All right, see you later.